Hey everybody. So, my research paper is titled Breaking Chains Traditionally and Literally: The Baptist Schism and Involvement in the American Anti-Slavery Movement. So, for this, what I've got is it's sort of a two-part paper almost. The first part follows more just the Baptist schism that occurred in the early to mid 1800s over the morality issue of slavery. So a lot of the Southern Baptists that were, running around were wanting to keep the institution of slavery and would even go as far as to use the Bible, both New and Old Testament, to sort of justify the use of slaves, labor, and all this kind of stuff. They would delve into Hebrew texts, they would delve into the Bible. It was a very in-depth process that there were certain masters that wouldn't let their slaves go to any church but their own. All kinds of stuff. And this starts creating some tension because what happened was, as the war, the Civil War starts getting closer to occurring, especially along the border states of the North-South border, the Baptist churches started experiencing the question of, is this a morally correct thing to be doing? Is this a Christian, action, to keep a slave? And so it ended up breaking apart quite many churches, to the point where there were some people being run out of towns. There were churches that were being created, two Baptist churches in the same town, one for the northerners, or the northern leaning individuals, and then some for the southerns. It was kind of crazy, the amount of issue that a lot of these people took. And what really started happening was eventually the churches completely broke apart, and we kind of get this now Southern versus Northern or fundamentalist ideal in the Baptist religion. It wasn't the only religion that experienced something like this. Presbyterians, Episcopalians, Catholics, I believe, they're also, at this time in history, especially in America, it was a big thing being talked about. But the Baptists took it a little bit of a step further, because the Northern Baptist, which is where I start getting into my second part of my paper, began taking steps to assist in the anti-slavery movement. They started working with the Underground Railroad. They started providing safe passage for runaway slaves. They started publishing pamphlets and speaking, on the streets. They started basically committing illegal acts, stealing slaves, all kinds of stuff. And so this, of course, only fans the flames. The Southern Baptists start getting more aggressive, and when the war finally erupts, it really ramps up, because now it went from, is this a morality issue, is this a political issue, to now it's, you are in the Union or you are in the Confederate and, Army, and all kinds of stuff. It was really crazy, the amount that this kind of went to. I'm pulling from a bunch of different sources. I mean, obviously it's, our main paper, but for the original, just general background information, I'm pulling from David Benedict's A General History of the Baptists and Other Parts of the World, as well as a history of Kentucky Baptists from 1769 to 1888. That's by a guy named J.H. Spencer. So I'm kind of building a lot of background with that. And then as I'm starting to get into the schism, I start talking about the use of the new, there was a article titled, the use of the New Testament in the American slavery controversy. Start looking at some of the things that they were preaching, teaching, all kinds of stuff. And then eventually I'll get into some of the slaves' perspectives. I'm pulling some information from that. It's all really interesting. And so I'm loving writing this paper. It's very fascinating. And I hope you guys are enjoying yours too. Anyway, have a good day.